Ever feel like you're rooting for the underdog?
Yeah.
Well, get ready, because today we're diving deep into a story about a seriously tiny underdog. A snail.
Okay.
In fact, not just one snail, but two whole species of snails. So rare, they were actually thought to be completely extinct.
Oh, wow.
For over a century.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we're talking about these critically endangered snail species from the Desertas Islands.
Okay.
And they're like incredible comeback story
Interesting.
against all odds.
I'm intrigued.
So these snails weren't rediscovered like in some lush tropical paradise, right?
Right.
Like you think of snails in like a nice...
Like a rainforest.
Yeah, a nice rainforest.
Yeah.
These guys were found on these windswept volcanic Desertas Islands.
Oh, wow.
Off the coast of Madeira.
Okay.
So not exactly a snail spa.
No, not at all.
Right.
Yeah.
What makes those islands so tough for a tiny snail just trying to get by?
Well, you got to imagine being this little snail, right? On this tiny island.
Uh-huh.
And it's overrun with rats and mice and goats.
Oh, no!
Not exactly friendly neighbors, right?
Not at all.
So the rats and mice, those guys, they just gobble up the snails and their eggs. And then you've got the gits. They're just munching like crazy on all the plants that the snails need for food and shelter.
Right.
So it's this 1-2 punch that almost completely wiped them out.
It's amazing they survived at all.
Yeah.
How did they even cling on?
It's kind of a mystery, really.
Yeah.
But between 2012 and 2017, there was this team of conservationists doing surveys on Deserta Grande. That's one of the Desertas Islands.
Okay.
And during these expeditions, they just happened to stumble across this tiny little population.
Really?
About 200 snails just barely hanging on.
Wow.
On these like steep cliffs.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Talk about a needle in a haystack.
I know, right?
What did they do next?
I know what you're thinking.
Did they like airlift them out?
Yeah.
These little stretchers?
Tiny little snail stretchers? Not quite.
Okay.
But the rescue was just as careful and meticulous.
Yep.
They collected every single snail.
Wow.
Transported them to zoos.
Okay.
In the UK and France.
Okay.
Chester Zoo was one of them.
I've heard about Chester Zoo. They do amazing work.
They do.
Didn't they make like a snail haven for these little guys?
They did.
What was it like?
So picture this.
Okay.
They took a regular shipping container, transformed it into like a miniature Desertas Islands ecosystem.
Really?
It's crazy.
Wow.
They had to recreate everything the plants those snails eat.
Oh, so they were like endemic plants.
Yeah, endemic plants from the Desertas Islands.
Wow.
And they had to keep the humidity just right around 80%.
Oh, wow.
And the temperature had to mimic those cool, moist conditions.
Right from the cliffs.
Exactly.
So it's like a 5-star snail hotel.
Yeah.
Complete with room service.
Totally.
I bet they loved it.
They did. They thrived.
I bet they did.
Started breeding like crazy.
Did they?
Yeah, they produced over 1,300 offspring.
1,300. That's amazing.
It is.
How they keep track of all those snails.
That's the cool part.
Yeah.
They used non-toxic pens and nail varnish.
Nail varnish?
Yeah. What for?
So they could mark each snail with the unique color code.
Oh, so like a tiny little passport.
Exactly.
That's Moses.
It's pretty clever.
Yeah.
And it let the researchers track each snail when they were released back into the wild.
So they sent them back to the Desertas Islands.
Not exactly.
Yeah.
They chose a neighboring island called Bugio.
Okay.
It's a protected nature reserve.
Okay.
And the important part is it's free from those invasive species.
The rats and the mice and...
The rats, the mice, and the goats, all gone.
So a fresh start for the snails, and most importantly, a safe haven.
Exactly.
It's amazing how much work went into this.
It really shows how important habitat restoration is.
Absolutely.
And how much collaboration it takes
to
bring a species back from almost disappearing forever.
I mean, these snails were critically endangered.
Right.
One step away from being gone forever.
It's a pretty inspiring story.
It is.
It's a good reminder that snails, they aren't just cute little creatures with shells.
Yeah, they're vital for a healthy ecosystem.
What do they do that's so important?
Well, they're like tiny little recyclers.
Okay.
They break down organic matter, which helps keep the soil healthy.
Right.
And they're a food source for other animals, too.
Yeah.
So even though they're slow, their impact is huge.
Yeah, they're like a keystone species.
Yeah, totally.
So this whole journey of this tiny snail,
I
think it holds a powerful message for us.
What do you mean?
If we can save a species, that was so close to extinction, what else can we do? What other species are out there that might be silently disappearing?
It makes you think.
And what can we learn from this success story to prevent future extinctions?
Yeah, it's a good question.
It's a question worth thinking about.